This is the chart that I created just yesterday. This plots the trend of spread around the world. So the focus of few countries, basically, the most of the more major countries that passed 100 cases. So because if you're below the 100 cases, it's really hard to tell what is the trend. So once you pass 100 cases, where things get really serious in the country, and then testing start to become more frequent, and then that's where you get a lot of the numbers up, and so you can see the trend lines is really a bit hard to read. Actually, I can zoom in. As you can see, a lot of the lines are actually very quite close together. Importantly is the first line. This line is actually China. This is actually China. So China sets the trend. They are like the what we use to see what is the actual norm. Sorry. So we can use them as a reference guide. So this line is actually China. So you can see the trend going up and then slowing down. This is up to day 24. This chart is done yesterday, so it's not updated with today's number, because a lot of the numbers are actually still not updated on WHO. So but from here you can actually see that, like, this line is not a country. This is actually a total number from the whole of Europe. So the entire Europe's number is added up here. So as you can see, the trend line, they are actually on the second, and this line is actually not very different from the one from China. And if we were to believe, and if we move this thing backwards by a few days, maybe 1 2 3 4 days, the line will actually more or less align with the China's trend, and you can actually see how much worse it can get. Because you must remember that China, while it's a country, is as big as the entire of Europe, if not bigger. And a single country in Europe, like Italy, is actually just as big as a province in China. So to compare China with Europe, we have to compare China with at least the entire of European Union, and not just a single European country. So because that would not be a fair gauge. So when you combine all the numbers from Europe, you can actually see that the trend is really similar to the one with China, and this is a harbinger of what's to come. Things is going to get much worse. So if you go all the way up, I think so let's see, if we go back 4 days, so 15 to 24, around 10 days, we are likely to see the number reaching 40,000 cases in entire of Europe. So things is not good. So if you're interested, the blue line, this is Italy. They are on day 17 since they passed 100 cases, whereas the Iran is still behind on the day 15. There's that 7,000 cases. And this one, way much more further, is actually South Korea, because they are the first country outside China that gotten a huge outbreak. They are on day 21, but as you can see, they really control the situation. It's actually normalizing, so that's very good. This lower blue line, this line is actually Japan. So Japan really controlled the situation really well. So I believe, if their numbers are to be believed, I think things are really in control in Japan. So the key places that we're going to look at is actually Europe as a whole, whether they can contain this situation. If not, the rest of the world have to follow US lead to ban travelers from Europe, just to keep their own healthcare system intact. So I already shared this graph on Twitter, on all my social media channels, including my Instagram. You can take a look. If you want this Excel, you can contact me. I will send to you via email or via any of the social medias private messaging. I will carry on other segment and talk about other issues, and I see you in a while.